Welcome back to Toy Informer for the start of another new series I'm going to be doing on a semi-regular basis here as I mix and match shows here on the channel. This was a series that I was going to do over on Renovision, where I think I only got through one, where the idea behind it being that I would cover an entire wave or run of toys or slash figures. So it'd be like the entire first issue of G.I. Joe figures, like don't worry about ranking them, all of that. We just kind of run through all of them, give you a sense of what they may be worth, and just kind of show off the toys and appreciate them for what they are. Now, with that in mind, I was doing another short this week. As you know, I do shorts. I've been doing a lot of Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure waves, as some of the shorts have been doing. And while doing one of those Marvel Build-A-Figure waves, I noticed that a lot of the figures were actually much more valuable than I had anticipated. I was just kind of surprised at how expensive some of these figures were. So I figured, you know what? This could make for an interesting topic. So this week's Marvel Build-A-Figure wave is also the topic of our first episode of the rundown, and it's going to be Marvel Legends, the Sandman series. So the Sandman Build-A-Figure series from the Spider-Man 3 movie set. So basically, Marvel Legends had a few of the Spider-Man 3 movie figures, and they mixed and matched and added a couple other figures from some of the previous movies, and they did like movie edition Marvel Legends, and they had a Build-A-Figure set that actually built a larger Sandman figure. So that is what we're going to cover here today on, like I said, the first episode of the rundown. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this series as you do with all of the content here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this tiny little channel. And if you haven't tried Whatnot before, first-time users, now's your chance. Use the link below in my description, down below. Use that link. It'll get you a free $15 to spend on whatever you want with whomever you want. It's a free $15 on your first purchase. Use it on whatever you like. No strings attached. So you really got nothing to lose just to give it a try. And with that all said, if you want to see this 2007 wave of Marvel Legends figures, just hang on for a few seconds after this short little intro, and I will be right back. All right, so as I mentioned in the open, we're going to be covering the Build-A-Figure series, building out a Sandman figure. And if you want to see what they are, let's just get right into it, right from the start. 2007, Marvel Legends. Our first figure is going to be Sandman. Yes, there was a Sandman figure in this series, and he's going to be first on deck here, as we have I'm drawing a blank. I was going to say Kane Marco. Flint Marco, the Thomas Hayden Church version. You can even see it in the face that the mold was made after the movie version, which is Thomas Hayden Church. Yet it still has the classic, green striped sweater that Sandman has worn since, since back in the day. So this is a pretty cool figure. And it comes with one of the pieces here, I think, is the left base. It's not actually a fist or a foot. It's actually the base on which we will build Sandman, because Sandman is made of sand. So yes, this is Sandman here, an individual figure where you get the look of him as part human with some Sandman like features. The Build-A-Figure is going to be this huge sand monster man. So that's what we're working towards here, with the left base being the first installment in our Build-A-Figure set by getting this Sandman figure. These things average a surprising $110. I was shocked to see that $110 to get the Sandman in the package. Like, I don't know, that's a decent chunk of change for what amounted to a very disappointing movie, in my opinion. I remember I had actually just started dating my wife, and I convinced her to take off of work to go see Spider-Man 3, and I haven't heard the end of it since, because it was just not very good. Granted, we've enjoyed taking off from work to go see other films, Lord of the Rings, etc., but that was the first time I got convinced her to do it, and Spider-Man 3 did not meet the standards for a day off from work, unfortunately. But with that said, $110 if you can find this, Flint Marco figure. All right, let's see what we've got next. And also, again, that movie was jam-packed with characters and ideas. I mean, we had Sandman, you had Venom, you had the black suit stuff going on, you had the second Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, whatever you want to call him. Well, I don't want to call him the Hobgoblin. The second Green Goblin is Harry. Sorry, I'm spoiling a movie that's, almost 20 years old at this point. But let's move on to the black suit Spider-Man, because that is what we have next on for this series. And as you can see here, Spider-Man 3, it was basically that Tobey Maguire suit, just silver and black. Like, they didn't go the black and white smooth slick look that was from the comics. They kept that same raised webbing textured suit that Toby had worn the first couple of movies, and they just made it black and made it silver to accent it, which wasn't terrible. It had a nice look to it on screen. It's just the way the storyline played out, it just wasn't great. But with this figure, you also get a little bit of webbing that Spidey's got shooting from his hand, and we get the next piece, which is his left leg. Yes, that's actually a leg mixed in with the base. You'll see it'll build out into it'll all make sense when you see them all put together. But yes, that piece right there, it is not like it's not a croissant, it's not a beignet, it is the left leg of the Sandman Build-A-Figure. And if you find the black suit version of this Spider-Man figure, this is a solid $75.50. It's, again, a lot of these Marvel Legends figures aren't worth like a ton. Like there's the occasional one that is worth a good deal of money, but most of them, they're pretty close to where they were, $20-$30 kind of range, maybe 40 for some of the harder to find ones or more interesting ones. But here, $75.50 ain't bad if you can come across this Spider-Man 3 black suit Spidey. All right, so moving on from there, let's see what we got next. We're going to go up the leg and get to the next piece and continue on. The black suit comes Venom. Yeah, so we got Venom in this movie. It was not a great version of Venom, and I got nothing against Topher. Topher was fine in the role. He was an Eddie Brock, but it just didn't fit. It was kind of just wedged in there. We could have just stuck with Sandman. It was done very well. You had the Green Goblin. We just didn't need three villains. It was just overstuffed with things going on. And then you had the weird emo dance and and Gwen Stacy also being introduced, which was also weird that they cast a blonde and made her a redhead. They cast a blonde in Kristen Dunst and made her a redhead to be Mary Jane, and then they cast a redhead in Bryce Dallas Howard, and then made her blonde to be Gwen Stacy. Just weird. Anyway, Venom. So the Venom figure comes here, actually not with the leg, moves up the side. This is the left arm. All right, this kind of looks like an arm. You can see it. It is not an uncovered, cheese puff. That is the left arm of Sandman. Kind of looks like a chicken wing, though. Anyway, the Venom figure, again, it was all right. For some reason, the suit still looked like Spidey's suit, as opposed to just being a liquid symbiote, like kind of like what they're doing with the current Venom movies, with no spider symbol. This one just really adhered to the idea of it being a suit and replicating the suit, and they just didn't want to move on too far from that, I guess. Now, Venom does a little bit better than the black suit Spidey, but not quite as good as Sandman, surprisingly. $85 on average for the Venom figure for this particular series and set. Like I said, this is solid. 3 figures already. They're well above, the MSRP when you first bought them. Like, it's like triple that price at least, if not more. So not bad. Not bad for this set. Moving on, we have the other villains from the Spider-Man movie universe being redisplayed or rerun, I guess, here. As we get Doc Ock. Doc Ock did not appear in the Spider-Man 3 movie, but they just kind of built on that series and said, hey, let's give everybody the Alfred Molina version of Doc Ock, sans glasses, which you can put on the glasses on the figure, which he kind of needs it, because without it, he looks a bit doofy. I'm just saying. The figure, the sculpt, it's not bad, but he looks a little goofy there without the glasses. So put the glasses on him, is my suggestion. But with this figure, we will move on to the other side of the body and go with that right arm. So now we got the left arm, we got the right arm, we got the left leg, we got the left base. We're getting there and building this thing out. Doc Ock, again, he looks a little bit too much like Mo without the glasses. I don't know. He needs the glasses, but still a decent figure, well represented to what he looked like in the movies, and he was one of the highlights of that film series, that Tobey Maguire series. He was the best villain. He really was. This figure also does pretty well for itself. It's about $88. So $88 if you could find the Doc Ock figure from Spider-Man 2, but kind of part of this Spider-Man 3 wave that came out in 2007. Not bad. Not bad. All right, so we already got the villain. Well, we had a couple of villains from part 3. We have the villain from part 2. So yeah, you guessed it. We're gonna get the villain from the first movie. So we get the first Green Goblin here, done again because they did him before. So they redid it again for this Build-A-Figure series. So Green Goblin, pretty cool. I mean, I didn't love the design of it with the whole helmet kind of thing. I kind of wish, not to say he needed to be a monster goblin face, but maybe make the mask more goblin-like and not a metal, unmoving thing. It just, it's hard to emote without it. And then when you saw Willem Dafoe's eyes when the goggle things went up, it just didn't work right. I don't know. Personally, I didn't love this design choice, but it wasn't terrible, and it makes for a good looking figure, because you can just do your own imagining with that. But the Green Goblin figure here comes with the right leg. Yes, that is a right leg, not another chicken nugget. And he does come with the Goblin Glider, which is also kind of cool. A lot of points of articulation with this series and this, wave in general. As you can see, a lot of points where you can do a lot of poses with these figures to recreate your favorite scenes, etc. And the Green Goblin is another figure that does pretty well for itself, despite the thought that, hey, the Black Suit Spidey and Venom would be the prizes of this bunch. Surprisingly, so far, it's been Sandman and the Green Goblin, as the Green Goblin's pulling down an average of $108 if you can find one of these, which again is not bad. That's not bad at all. I think we're like halfway through. I think we're about maybe a little more than halfway through. We got a few pieces left. I mean, we've gone through all these villains. We had the Black Suit Spidey, but we kind of need the regular Spidey, right? So let's take a look at Spider-Man himself. Yep, you got the suit with the webbing all raised. Looks very similar to other releases we've seen of Spider-Man from Marvel Legends, including Spider-Man movie versions of this figure. I believe the difference between this figure and prior movie versions of the Marvel Legends is that the blue is a little darker, it's almost black here, as opposed to, I think it was more bluey than this before. Now, Spider-Man in the package, again, from Spider-Man 3, but kind of covers the whole movie series of all 3 films. This comes with the right base. So another piece that's just kind of making that base for the figure is kind of part of the leg. You might even call this left foot and right foot instead of left base and right base. But he doesn't really have feet because he's Sandman. You'll see. It'll make sense once it's all put together, despite the fact that it looks like a weird pile of funnel cake. This is the right base. Pretty cool Spider-Man. Again, tons of articulation here on the figure. And if you could find one of this particular versions, with the still in the package, you'll get yourself a healthy $225, basically. $225. I believe this is the biggest one of the bunch, and that just stands out to me because, man, that's $200 more than I think the figure would have cost when it came out. In fact, more than that, because I think the figure would have only been $20 or less upon release. I don't think they were $25 yet. So definitely a healthy premium if you have managed to hang on to one of these in the package, or could find one in the package. But you never know. You're out there hunting, all you comic people who are coming over to check out my toy channel. Hey, when you're at a comic show, you always have those random comic dealers. They'll have a few figures. They have a few toys. They may not know what they have because they focus on comics. They may not know toys all that well. So keep an eye out. That's all I'm saying. Keep an eye out. You never know. All right. We're getting near the end of this run. Probably my least favorite of the group. It's Mary Jane. The Mary Jane figure, I feel like they made her out of obligation, but it is not a good sculpt. Like, her face, it does not really look like her at all. It's the design choice of the outfit is also poor, and it's just uninspired. It's just like a beige, blah, just a tan mess. It's just nothing pops here. Could have given her a red dress or something that just would kind of catch your eye and make it action figure worthy. But man, just not digging this. Anyway, she comes with like a big 2x4. I believe this is from the second movie. Well, it could be from the third one. Yeah, it feels more second movie-ish when they were on the dock fighting Doc Ock, especially with the board here. But this comes with the torso. So we're getting the torso piece of Sandman. And then, again, just your very plain-looking Mary Jane holding a piece of wood. Cool. I don't know. Unsurprisingly, this is the least desired figure of the bunch. It's nobody really cares. It's still only $30. So out of all of these that are doing really well, this one, not surprising to me, is only $30 because it is just not great. And a lot of times, like the female figure would be the draw. It'd be like, oh well, they don't make many female figures. It's the harder to find. They don't print as many, or make as many because again, it's a boy toy line, so they don't think anybody's going to buy those. So they make less. Nobody cares. Nobody cares with this one. All right. I think we're almost there. And I think this might be the last figure of our run. And that is, well, the last villain of the bunch. Because, like I said, they overstuffed that third movie with a third villain. And we've got the New Goblin. So that's what we're going to call this one. It's the New Goblin. And not to spoil it, it's Franco. It's Harry. And he just kind of looked not like a goblin at all. He looked like, I don't know, just a G.I. Joe infantry dude. Just like generic guy with goggles and mask. I don't know. Just didn't love this design at all. Here, I'll give you a better look at it. And he also comes with the head of Sandman. So you got the Sandman head that's going with the Build-A-Figure version of the Sandman. Not the Sandman that's part of the Build-A-Figure set, but the Build-A-Figure itself head is here with the snowboard version of the Goblin Glider. Again, like they were trying to make him like cool or something. I didn't care for this. I'm glad it didn't take up too much of the third movie, but I didn't love it. Didn't love it. And they just randomly give him a sword. All right, cool. He's got a sword. But the figure does well. It's the second most expensive of the bunch at about $150. So if you could find this crappy goblin, you made yourself a few dollars. Just saying. Because again, I just didn't love this design or that third movie. But the toys are worth looking for. And with that, we're going to take all of those pieces, all of that funnel cake that looks like just a hodgepodge mess, and we are going to build it out and give us this beauty. Where are you, Sandman? It's kind of cool. It seems more of a statue piece than an actual figure because while you can move the arms and there is some movement there, the legs are pretty stiff and you kind of have to keep them where they are. Otherwise, it won't make sense. And and the head just looks like a human head on top of, I don't know, like a churro. Looks like a twisted up churro. But it is what it is. Not my favorite Build-A-Figure, but the pieces in the set, like I said, were more expensive than I thought they were going to be. You want to take a look at the back of this thing? Sure, well, let's take a look at the back of this thing. So here's the reverse look, and you can see the holes that go through. All right, cool. And you can see the arms, some motion there. You got the ball joint going in there, so you can move them around, and the same thing with the head. You can have that go. Looking at, I just picked one of the random card backs because it shows you all the figures in the wave. And it also will tell you, like, this is the black suit back, and it tells you what piece you have for the set. So it's like, all right, piece. I didn't go in the order that they had here. I did my own order, but you can see here, it's a way to track and build out that set. And despite the fact that some of these pieces are very, very expensive, I mean, Spidey's over $200 by himself. New Goblin's $150. Who else was over $100? Goblin, the Green Goblin was over $100. The what do you call it? The first Sandman is also over $100. Like, despite the fact that all those individual pieces cost that much, if you were to get this set and build out Sandman himself, the Build-A-Figure, it's only about $103.50. So it's not bad, but it's definitely not on the higher end of the Build-A-Figures that once you build out the set, if you can find all the pieces, and again, you can hodgepodge these together. You can find those random pieces available sometimes online by themselves. Sometimes vice versa. You'll see figures for sale without the Build-A-Figure pieces. People pick and choose, and they Frankenstein things together. So if you were able to Frankenstein together a Sandman figure out of random pieces that you found or bought online, etc., it's $103.50. So that might be more chase than what it's worth, but still a fun little thing to try and do. And with that, that is my first rundown. So that's going to be the idea of what this series is going to be, is to give you that full wave set, that full wave feel, and explain to you all the pieces that went into that set, and just kind of run them down, give you a sense of what their value was, and just kind of show them off, take a look, and yeah, just see what's what. And hopefully you enjoyed that. So thanks for stopping by and checking out this series. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you want to see more. If you like this format, please let me know in the comments down below. If you'd rather me switch from like a Build-A-Figure, wave, we can also do waves of, like I said, I can do the first run of G.I. Joe or the first wave of Transformers, or I'm trying not to double duplicate things I'm doing on the top 10 toy show, but also understand that there's a lot of toys that we can cover, and not all of them are super duper expensive, but we still want to just kind of look at them, appreciate them, and get a sense of even the not most expensive ones. What are those toys like, and what are they worth? Because they still could be worth a few bucks, even if they're not at the top tier of the line. They still might be worth knowing about, and you might just have them at home and want to know what your toys are worth. Whatever the case, just let me know what you guys think down below, and I've got plenty more content coming your way. So with that all said, I'll see you all later. All right, bye.